Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I have a story today about a Ripple executive who is basically teasing the future of XRP-related micropayments. Look at the headline from Daily Hodl. Ripple executive says XRP and crypto assets poised to grab millions of customers in micropayments revolution. Very much looking forward to reviewing this with you and sharing my thoughts on this. I also have a couple tweets from the XRP community I want to share with you in this video. I'll wrap up the video with this article from Daily Hodl titled, "Ready or Not in the United States. China Prepares for Blockchain-Based Digital Economy, Introduces New Cryptography Law." Now, before we get rolling here, if you would, please, sir or madam, delicately tap that like button. And if you love your mama, you go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because that is the most productive thing that you can do on a Sunday. That's what I think anyway. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I got this the first story from XRP Crypto Wolf, and thank you very much for sending this to me, sir. I do appreciate it. And it's the first piece I cited from Daily Hodl. Ripple executive says XRP and crypto assets poised to grab millions of customers in micropayments revolution. Crypto assets like XRP are the perfect technology to trigger a revolution in the world of micropayments, according to one Ripple executive. At FinTech Abu Dhabi 2019, Ripple's managing director for Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa said hundreds of millions of people will one day rely on micropayments to move value. Navin Gupta says real-world use cases include allowing websites to access content for a few pennies instead of signing up for a subscription. And I'm about to read a quote from him, but indeed, part of the reason that you can't really move money around the world, these small little bits, well, it's quite... Technically, it's possible. It just doesn't make any economic sense if just the cost associated with it, and there's more human management involved. But once you're able to utilize decentralized cryptocurrencies that have very quick transactions per second possible, XRP obviously, the transactions that can cost fractions of a penny. And the funny thing about it, I'm not sure, maybe many of you realize that I don't know how many, but I will cite this. XRP transactions could have just as easily, instead of being fractions of a penny, could have literally been free. There's like the fees associated with the XRP transactions, they don't go to anybody. It's just they're called fees, but really what happens is every time XRP is transferred, a very, very, very small portion of that XRP is burnt up forever. And consider that each individual XRP is divisible by 1 million. So inside of each XRP, there are actually 1 million digital assets, if I can frame it like that, just so you can conceptually understand what I'm talking about. And so the reason that it's not free, it's not because it couldn't technologically be free. Again, it could. It's to prevent DDoS attacks, because if you want to spam a network, it suddenly becomes very costly over time. So to me, it makes a ton of sense, and given that it's effectively free, what the hell does it matter anyway, and it prevents DDoS attacks. Makes all the sense in the world. So anyway, here's a quote now from Navin Gupta. "Let's assume the website already has millions of subscribers and it's reaching a saturation point. It wants to give you the right to read just one article at 10 cents. But there's no payment system in the world today which can accept 10 cents from Emily and pay it to a publisher. Nobody can do this at a reasonable price in a quick fashion so that she presses one button on the other side and she's able to read an article. But cryptos can do it. At an almost negligible cost, they're able to let Emily read an article. So micropayments is one such area where a very large number of publishers are looking for a venue to go to hundreds of millions of customers like Emily and get them on board where they're able to serve bite-sized content." And then the article continues. "Another big potential use case could emerge in the billion-dollar video game industry. Gupta points to the sale of virtual in-game items as a potential mainstream marketplace for micropayments, and says his son is ready and waiting." And I'm going to read this next quote from him in just a moment, but I also want to cite here, and I've mentioned this a couple other times, there is another cryptocurrency, and I haven't checked on it in forever, but it's called WAX, W-A-X, and I remember researching this when I was researching dozens of different coins, or shortly after I entered the world of cryptocurrency. I entered in November of 2017, but this one I think I came across in December that year, December 2017. And they were seeking to utilize a wax cryptocurrency. That's what it's called. I can't remember. It's something. I really can't remember what it stands for. Something access exchange, or I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You can Google it if you're that curious. But it's a wax cryptocurrency. But what I learned, and part of what I learned in the research, is there was just one crazy example cited. Because look, there are communities around these video games and digital assets utilized. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, but just digital assets. So if you're in a video game, the types of examples that are frequently given are, you could have unique armor or a sword, and there can be a real world value associated with that. And there was and I don't know what the video game was, but there was some sort of in-game sword that was unique. It was a custom one-off digital sword that was sold in US dollars for $40,000 US dollars for this digital sword. And that might sound outrageous, but of course everything's relative. If you have $1 billion and it's a fraction of your net worth, and whatever, maybe you'll spend $40,000 on what is your passion. That's perfectly fine. It makes sense. But I just want to give you an idea. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's absolutely huge, and it's another place in particular where perhaps XRP can find some real-world use. But anyway, so here's a quote from Navin Gupta now. He wins virtual swords. He will win different things, but what he wants to do is convert his virtual sword into an ice cream. He wants to sell his virtual sword for $1 for somebody else who wants it. He wants to get to the next level and convert that into ice cream. There is no payment system in the world that lets him do that. Though he has won something of value in the video game and social media, everybody says, your sword is valuable, but what he needs is an ice cream. So what we are able to do is take that digital asset from him, and through XRP convert that into ice cream, which he can get at a shop in the fiat currency. These are huge markets in waiting with hundreds of millions of customers where the pent-up demand is there, but we are failing them because there is no micropayment system. And at Ripple, we are changing that through investing in companies, through working in the ecosystem and helping them enable their businesses. And this is an idea whose time has come. And yes, absolutely, firmly true. And this goes, it's kind of in line with the concept that I talk about from time to time. It's just the idea of a much more liquid world than the one we live in today. I don't know that you literally need to tokenize everything. Last time I brought this up, I jokingly mentioned, I don't need to tokenize my pet peeve, which is my 4-year-old terrier mix. She's a sweet little dog. She doesn't need to be tokenized, right? But there are all sorts of things in the world that it would make sense to tokenize. And if you can get in and out of assets very quickly without a bunch of paperwork and without a bunch of human interaction needed and without a bunch of costs associated with it, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? Imagine being able to get into a fraction of real estate ownership, just in and out, just like snap of a finger, That's the type of world that we are approaching, and there are a lot of instances in which tokenization will indeed make a lot of sense. And if XRP is good at moving money around the world, then it's going to do it. Especially as there's already traction with XRP, obviously. So understand that liquidity also matters as it pertains to this. So as everything grows, standards matter. Standards are hard to dethrone. So as you continue to see adoption, it's just going to be that much more confidence. And that's why, while things are less certain, given that cryptocurrency has only been around 10 years and there's a frenzy around this technology still, I am happy to invest early. I think it makes sense to do it. Not financial advice. I don't have a financial background. Just saying, to me, it makes a ton of sense. I'm willing to risk a little bit of money, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I am Mr. XRP Bull. And, I meant to mention this at the beginning just for the heck of it. So this is Navin Gupta. He's a guy I just quoted from Ripple. This is his Twitter page, and I like to follow every Ripple employee that I can because I want my news feed, my Twitter feed, to be filled with all things Ripple, XRP, Coil, and other developers building on top of the XRP ledger. So there you go. Here's a tweet from Crypto Wizard. Is anyone else getting those 2017 tingles again? That subconscious urge to continue buying as much crypto as possible because you feel something big is coming. I highly doubt these prices will ever return again after the next parabolic bull run strikes, not taking any chances. And then XRPesus123 responded to that and tagged me with some others, and so I thought I'd go ahead and read this tweet and give you a shout out, good sir. Hope you're listening here. And so Crypto Wizard was the first tweet, and so this is in response to Crypto Wizard, and he writes, "Unfortunately, I wasn't here for the 2017, but from listening to Digital Asset Investor, Kevin Cage, Jungle Inc., Moon Lambo, hey, that's me, thanks for the shout out, and Rob Cash 71, and many others and their great channels, I've had the tingles from my first buy. I'm here now, FlexRP. I like that FlexRP thing. That's good. I like that. That's clever. But, first of all, thank you very much for the shout-out. But I will say this. I don't know when the timing of all this is going to occur. I don't make price predictions. I do not offer financial advice, period. But I can tell you my everyday Joe Schmo type opinion is that I firmly believe crypto is here to stay and that more people will find out about it as time passes. And even those that are kind of naysayers, imagine another 10 years. Say another 10 years pass. There's going to reach a point where even the greatest naysayers will have to acknowledge, yeah, it's not going away. And at that point, if that's the case, what does that mean? That means that there are going to be some winners, and I think XRP is going to be one of those. And so what do I look for? Well, what's my investment thesis? Utility matters and will win the day. That's it. XRP. All right, last piece here from Daily Hodl. Ready or not in the U.S., China prepares for blockchain-based digital economy, introduces new cryptography law. A new cryptography law is being introduced by the Standing Committee of the 13th National People's Congress in China. Announced on October 26, China's cryptography law goes into effect on January 1st, 2020, according to local news outlet Xinhuanet. And I am highly confident that I did not say that as you are intended to pronounce it. The announcement comes only a day after Chinese President Xi Jinping, and I can't remember how to pronounce that. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, don't know. You can tell me below. Detailed how China plans to embrace blockchain technology to tackle globalization, modernization, and business inefficiencies. According to the World Bank, the world's second largest economy, which has contributed around 30% of global growth in the past 8 years, has unique challenges. And here's a quote. Rapid economic ascendance has brought on many challenges as well, including high inequality, especially between rural and urban areas, challenges to environmental sustainability, and external imbalances. China also faces demographic pressures related to an aging population and internal labor migration. Blockchain technology, and the piece continues, blockchain technology utilizes cryptography to ensure that transactions are executed in a secure manner, safely storing data and value. And I gotta admit, I'm very surprised that a crypto media outlet got back to such like a basic concept in the middle of this particular article. I'd expect that from, CNBC or CNN or Fox News or who just covered it, because they're, the people from those particular media outlets not necessarily into crypto, but everybody reading this kind of gets it, I think. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm nitpicking, I guess. To leverage blockchain and the cryptography that underpins it, China will need to map out clear regulations. The proposed cryptography law addresses regulatory and legal requirements in commercial cryptography use cases. According to the proposal, here's the quote, clear guidelines and regulations are needed to evaluate commercial cryptography technologies used in the major fields related to the national interest, as the current loose system is not suitable for the industry anymore. And that's the gist of it, though. I don't want to read this whole article, but I think that kind of gets the message through. And it's progress, is it not? I think so. I want all of the regulatory clarity necessary for the industry to thrive to just be in place. And whatever laws need to be associated with that to make that happen, hey, I'm all for it. Not that all laws associated with this are going to necessarily be the right ones or good, but I think it's all going to get figured out over time. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. Why? Because that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!